Hello humans, as you can see I'm currently in Penacony on my ult. His name is Schlag. Please respect his name. Right. So, Schlag is now almost done with Penacony. And I think this is a pretty good point to give my opinion on the skip button. Right. There was a lot of controversy around this skip button for literally no reason. For some reason, some gacha players really think it's like a sin to have anyone skipping the story. I agree that story is the main content that HSR has to offer, and that there really isn't much else unless you're a meta slave. However, if you are a meta slave, that's kind of the point, right? Or if, let's say, you want to make 2 accounts to lessen the FOMO on yourself, because making 2 accounts in this game is genuinely a good idea, so long as you're not like forcing yourself to do it and you actually enjoy that, right? You can very easily get almost every single character that comes by, and that's pretty valuable in of itself, right? So that's what I myself have done. I've made like 2 or 3 ult accounts before this, so I know just how, annoying it could be having to redo the story over and over and over again with no skip button at all, right? However, this time around, I have started doing the story quest on this ult account, and man, it is a game changer. For reference, these are my times for these planets and finishing them since adding the skip button on this account. Belobog was like 3 hours, right? Belobog was like 2 or 3 hours. After Belobog, Zhangzhou was like 4 hours, I think, right? 3 or 4. Herta Space Station was less than an hour, and Penacony is insanely like way faster, right? I am currently, I'd say, around 4 hours into Penacony, and I'm already damn near the end. This is the part where you usually start going into like those portal thingies here until you end up fighting Sunday, right? So yeah, I'd say Penacony will probably take me 5 to 6 hours, and you need to keep in mind, even though I am skipping dialogue, I'm not exactly trying to speedrun. Like, half the hours I have in Penacony progress were while I was on stream talking to my chat, not paying attention most of the time. So if someone truly wanted to like speedrun and optimize this as quick as possible, I'm sure they could cut off an hour, right? So truly, absolutely game changing. I'd say on average it makes all the worlds twice as fast, and for some it makes them like 3x as fast, right? There is this, or used to be, an unskippable like dialogue with Avin, Ratio, and Sunday, I think in the middle of like Avin's story quest, or like right before it, and that used to last like 15 minutes just in of itself without you being able to skip anything. And I already made a community post on this. I was able to skip it, and I finished it within literally a minute. So that just goes to show you just how dialogue heavy a lot of Penacony is, and if you're able to skip it, you're able to progress insanely quickly, right? Now, Ampho, probably you will see a similar like increase in finishing it, because Ampho does have like a lot of dialogue, especially in its earlier patches. However, Ampho may still take a bit longer than the rest of these planets, for the reason that you need to do so many puzzles to like open doors and move forward and do this and that at the beginning of Ampho, right? So do keep that in mind. Ampho will probably be like the least of a planet that you'd see a difference in, because of how like puzzle filled it is. A lot of the time you spend in Amphorius quests is stalling you with puzzles to unlock doors and move forward and all that stuff, right? But still, I think even for Ampho, once I go through Ampho, I'm quite confident I will be able to finish Amphorius 2 to 3 times as fast as compared to ever before, which is absolutely massive, especially for I believe the first patch of Ampho. It has an insane amount of dialogue without much going on at all. So I think this is a W, right? I think this is an absolute W. This skip option should have been in the game to begin with, right? I'm not going to pretend it isn't, or it shouldn't have, but now that it is here, it is immensely valuable, right? Today alone, I've gotten 26 pulls. All 26 of these pulls were today alone, and I've only been playing for like 4 hours, right? So that should go to show you, if you make like a fresh reroll account without pulling at all, the amount of pulls you'll be able to gain is absolutely disgusting, right? So that's my thoughts on the skip button. It is genuinely an amazing QOL. However, I do have one criticism of it, which is the skip button does not work for side quests. And yes, any side quests. So Shackling Prison and the Banana Quest in Penacony, which in my opinion, I have crowned the worst quest this game has ever released. Those two quests you cannot use skip dialogue in. So you can only use skip dialogue for main story quests only, which I think sucks, right? I do think it sucks. Now, yes, you can ignore the Banana Quest and you can ignore Shackling Prison and the Lofu, because you're not really losing out on all that many Jades. You don't really have to go in for it, right? But it would be nice to just have the skip option for literally everything, right? And the way they worded this skip, dialogue, it's not like they're working towards making this for side quests as well. Like, this is it, right? The skip option is already fully cemented in this version, and then I believe it was 3.6. They'll add the ability to see the summary when you skip shit for every single planet, right? But it didn't seem like they had any plans to add this to side quests. So I will say, you cannot use this for the Banana Quest. You cannot use this for, I'm assuming, companion stories. You cannot use this for Shackling Prison. All of that sucks, right? It really does suck. However, for what it is and for what it does in the main story, it's an absolute blessing, right? Now, if anyone wants to hear my polling plans for this account, it is E6 Anoxa. I have a E4 S1. So I'm quite confident Anoxa will rerun in the next patch, since it'll officially be 3 patches after. 3 patches is basically the number of patches that need to pass for a character to be reran. And Saridra is looking to be a second best in slot support for him. Not as valuable as Sunday, but still decently valuable. So the chances of him rerunning in 3.5 is quite high. So I will say I am going for E6 and probably skipping Saridra, because there's no way I can guarantee his E6 plus Saridra as well. And honestly, I'd rather focus on my Sunday. If I were to spend any pulls, it would be in this patch, because I'm already down to, I think, like 100. Yeah, 109 warps. We're going to get the free Archer. This way I would just be able to get Archer plus Light Cone and run him as the second DPS on this account's team. I'd probably run him with like Ruan Mei and I don't know who else, right? I'd make it work. At the end of the day, I'm going to get an E6 Anoxa, so I can just run him with like RMC and Ting Yun, and I can give Archer all my premium teammates. So yeah, that's what I plan to do. I plan to go for E6 Anoxa probably next patch. It's not guaranteed, it's not confirmed, but I just have, the Spidey tingle. I do think Anoxa will rerun in the next patch, so I need to save my pulls for that. And my second team will be Archer. I should be able to clear all endgame content. Maybe I won't be able to clear Pure Fiction. That's the only one that's a bit iffy, right? Love you all. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night. Let me know if you guys agree with my opinion on the skip button and all of that. I think it's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. However, it does have its flaw, which is it cannot work for side quests. Love you all. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night. Peace out.